Micah Parsons has had enough with not getting calls. He sounded off about why he's so frustrated with the double standard that the NFL has for defensive players.
You are Locked On Packers, your daily Green Bay Packers podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
You are Locked On Packers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I'm Peter Bukowski, and I cover the Packers for The Leap, a newsletter I would love for you to subscribe to. Follow me on Twitter, Peter_Bukowski. Follow the podcast on Twitter, Locked On Packers. Like us on Facebook. Subscribe to the podcast to iTunes, Spotify, Google Podcasts, wherever you find podcasts, you will find Locked On Packers, the #1 Packers podcast on the internet, and the show for fans who know what happened, they want to know why and how. Thanks to everyone who makes Locked On Packers their first listen every day. We hope you like starting your day with us as much as we like starting our day with you. Micah Parsons feels the way you do about not getting any holding calls. And it was to the point on Thursday that he was willing to take a fine if that is in fact what happens from the NFL. He was asked about all the holding calls, and he did not hold back when asked about it. Here's what he said.
You know, it's just one of them things. It is what it is. Like, 5 years of not getting a call, you'll eventually stop worrying about it, but they know, you could tell how they call the games. They don't call offsides for offense, but they'll call it on defense. They won't call offensive pass interference, but they'll call defensive pass interference immediately. Like, we know what they're trying to do. They want to load the points up so fans can be happy, and, they'll call defensive holding, but they won't call offensive holding. Like, let's just wake up.
And look, we know the league wants points. They like that people follow the NFL, some people specifically solely for fantasy football. They want the points. That's entertaining for everybody. You have to be a real football sicko, and I know that a lot of you are, to like a 13-10 defensive struggle where the defense is just playing their butts off. But what Parsons is saying here is so much more about fundamental fairness. Why is the offensive player, why is his health, safety, and well-being so much more important than the offensive player? And this was, frankly, not something I had considered when it comes to pass rushers. I understand receivers running full speed, going over the middle, a safety comes over, bang. Like, those plays are different. But Micah gave an extraordinary example of the double standard when it comes to defenseless players.
Like, we put so much emphasis on protecting the offense, protect the defense. Like, a guy could be trying to catch the ball, and you make a defensive play so he doesn't catch it, and it's targeting. It's a flag now. But a defensive end could be rushing and engaged with another player, and the guy could come blow his ribs out. And we're not considered defenseless. But like we said, it's an offensive league. Like, I think a lot of the rules, and it's like, guy like damn near hurt Van Ness last week. Like, what are we doing? Like, if you're going to say it's about protecting the players, then protect all players. Don't just protect one side of the ball. Like, I don't mind guys chipping from the outside, but like, running backs want to come and sneak players while we're engaged with offensive linemen. And like, people want to encourage, like, that's not good football. Like, that's not safe football if that's what they want to preach, like, on the offensive side. So, like, who are we kidding? You want to find guys for putting their head down, but you can be engaged with an offensive tackle and the guard can come put his head right into your head. What are we talking about here? Like, and look how many times that's on film. Guys putting their head down and trying to come clean your clock. But you can't do that to offensive players. Get a $50,000 fine. I might get a fine for this conference.
And he's right. Of course, he's right. Like, if he is rushing against an offensive tackle, we see this all the time. And these clips go viral because we love them as football fans. A guard comes over and just cleans up a defensive end. Or a tackle comes over a defensive end or a rush linebacker drops out, tackle's got nothing to do. He comes over and washes out a defensive tackle, puts his helmet in the guy's chest and takes him down. Well, that player didn't see that coming. Aren't they defenseless? Now, I'm not advocating for flags, and I don't think Micah Parsons is either. I think what he's saying is, why are we treated so differently? Why are defensive players, their health and safety, not accounted for in the rules? And the point of hands to the face being a penalty you can call on offense is so that you call it when it happens. It's not, like the run-of-the-mill holding calls. I don't think those bother Micah Parsons. He said 2 or 3 egregious ones a game on him. He'd like those to be called where he gets tackled because those are unsafe plays. They're just not, that's not supposed to be what happens. It's different. A running back is running. He gets tackled. He's been tackled 1,000 times in his life, probably more. That's a different play because you know what those collisions look like. You can prepare yourself for them to a certain degree. And this is just a different thing. There's a reason we have holding. There's a reason that call exists. And it's for, really, if we're going to keep it a buck here, it's for the egregious ones because holding happens every play. And that's what he's saying. In close quarters, I get it. Hands inside, he's got a hold of my jersey. You're not going to get those calls. Now, I do think one of my theories on this is one of the reasons he doesn't get holding calls is he loves to take inside runs. He loves to take inside moves. They line him up over guards. They line him over centers. And when defensive linemen get holding calls in the middle, it is almost exclusively because the quarterback breaks contain or moves around. The defensive tackle moves to chase. And it becomes obvious with a grab, a tug of the jersey, or like the shoulder pads get moved and the refs can see that. Maybe he was in what we would consider sort of legal holding position with the hands inside on the chest plate. That's legal holding. That's not really holding. You get your hands outside on the shoulders around the body. That's holding. Or you get too much jersey as they're coming around. That's holding. But there was a play in multiple plays that I saw screenshots of, clips of, where Micah Parsons just gets armbarred. He's inside move against a guard, and the guard just reaches his arm out. And like we're playing Red Rover. And it's just like, okay, Micah, like run through my arm. That is obvious holding. And it's not a safe play. And so he pointed out Lucas Van Ness almost got hurt on a play where someone comes over and tries to clean up where he takes a blind side shot. No, you're probably not going to eliminate those plays from the game, right? And again, I don't think Micah is advocating for that. What he's saying is, if you're not going to call those, and we understand you're not going to call those, then call the penalties you should call. Call the holding calls that you're supposed to call, which are the egregious ones. Matt LaFleur said he's going to talk to the officials about it. You guys, the Cowboys, it's not like Mike McCarthy was not telling officials, hey, my guy's getting held every freaking time. And it's not like Micah Parsons isn't going to the officials going, he's holding. They, like, at this point, they're just not going to call it. And that's unfortunate. You have to find ways around it. You have to find ways to be impactful anyway. You have to find ways to scheme him up. I mean, maybe Jeff Hafley is relying too much on Micah Parsons' ability to win one-on-one, and maybe you need to do things more to free him up, because if you are able to scheme up a free run, that's why I love, they did this thing where they kind of hid Micah Parsons, where he lines up directly behind the defensive tackle. And he gets a two-way go. The defensive tackle gets to attack one direction, and then Micah gets to decide, do I want to go left or right? Kind of like a running back, reading the hole. I'm going to pick one direction or the other. But on one play just like that, he gets around, gets a free run, and again, the guy just reaches out and grabs him, and he's not getting those calls. So what Parsons is saying here is about the fairness of the way the game is called. And I don't expect it to change, but that doesn't mean he's not right. Now, I want to talk about some matchups in this game because I said on our squad show, I said on our crossover show, I think this is a one-score kind of game. The more I dug into some of the matchups, the less I think that is true in a vacuum. The game's not played in a vacuum, but we'll talk about it more next on Locked On Packers. Today's Locked On Packers is sponsored by BetterHelp. October 10th was World Mental Health Day, and this year we're saying thank you, therapists. Life can be tough on and off the field, and behind millions of mental health journeys are therapists who showed up, listened, and helped people take a step forward. BetterHelp is shining the spotlight on these connections while also making it simple for you to get support whenever you need it. Therapy moments can be life-changing, whether it's learning to better connect with your kids, healing a relationship, or finding healthy ways to manage stress. This World Mental Health Day, join us in celebrating the therapists who've reached millions and help them take a step forward. If you're ready to start your own journey, BetterHelp can help you find the right therapist. Our listeners get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/lockedon. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/lockedon. This episode is also brought to you by our friends at Prize Picks. Every day we make decisions, but on Prize Picks, being right can actually get you paid. Don't miss the excitement of this football season with Prize Picks, where it's good to be right. Playing Prize Picks is such a fun, simple way to add more excitement to football. You just pick more or less on player projections like Josh Allen's passing yards or Saquon Barkley rushing for a touchdown, and you're in the game. It's quick. You can make a lineup in under a minute if you know what you want to do here. And so go do it. Right now, guess what? They have more than just NFL. Right now, Steph Curry, 0.5 points. If he scores 1 point this week against the Lakers, October 21st is the day of that game. Put him in your lineup. If he scores a point, he is a green for that one. Download the Prize Picks app today and use code LOCKEDONNFL to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code LOCKEDONNFL for $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. It's good to be right. The Arizona Cardinals have only played close games so far this season. And that was a big reason why I believed this game would be close. I think they are better than 2-4. If you flipped their 500 games, their 50-50 games, their one-score games, they're 4-2. So they've been close in some of these games. On the other hand, football is about matchups. How do you and what you're good at fit with what the other team is also good, or in this case, bad at? So I grab some of these numbers from Sumer Sports, which has become this incredible resource for all sorts of numbers and data and all kinds of cool stuff. So the Packers have the most explosive offense in the NFL this year. Number 1 in explosive play rate. The quickest way to score, the best way to score, the best way to improve your chances of scoring are to have an explosive play on a drive. An explosive play improves your chances of scoring by an enormous amount. Think about it. You get an explosive pass play, talking about 15, 20 yards, plus you're practically in field goal range from almost anywhere, even from, Cardinals territory in this case. You're nearly in field goal range. Well, the Cardinals are 21st in giving up explosives. So they're comfortably below average doing that. And the Packers might get Christian Watson back. We'll talk more about the injuries at the end of the show. So the Packers are, by the way, one of the best teams in the NFL not giving up explosives. It's one of the reasons their defense is still so good. You worry about the death by 1,000 cuts stuff, but they're still second in defensive DVOA because you're just not going to survive 3, 4, 5 yards of play. You have to be able to create explosives. How do the Packers want to play? Well, they've been playing more from 2 tight end sets this season. I don't know if that's going to happen in this game, especially with the return of Christian Watson, and especially with the solidification of this offensive line. I think they will give them more opportunities to block this front 1v1. The Packers are 3rd in EPA per play from 11 personnel, so 3 receivers on the field. The Cardinals are 19th defending 11 personnel. So again, comfortably below average. Packers very good when they have 3 receivers on the field. That's not just passing, that's just all plays. The Cardinals are not. And part of that is they want to play these funky defenses. They want to play 3-4 safeties at times. And that just creates matchup problems for you. Like if you're playing a bunch of safeties, those safeties can't cover receivers well. And if you're playing a bunch of safeties, how are you going to handle the run game? How are you going to fit the run if you've got a guard climbing instead of a linebacker, it's a safety? Like that's a big time problem for a defense. This is the one though, to me. Jordan Love and the Packers offense are first in EPA per play targeting the middle of the field. And I know EPA per play can be an opaque concept at times. They are averaging 1.15 EPA per play. So think about that. Over 1 point per play when they target the middle of the field. So 7 plays in the middle of the field is a touchdown. That is a preposterous number. Just to give you an idea of the context for this. That is 3 times more value generated per play than like a Patrick Mahomes MVP season, an Aaron Rodgers MVP season. That's how good they are attacking the middle of the field. This offense is unbelievable attacking the middle of the field right now. Something, by the way, they did not do a lot of last year. Cardinals are 19th in EPA per play defending the middle of the field. So the elite team, the meh team. Okay? So those are all great matchups. The last thing offensively for the Packers that I think is important, because the one way teams have found that they can get a handle on this offense is when they generate pressure. It's the only way to slow this offense down. The Cardinals are 28th in pressure percentage. So how often do they create pressure? And this is bad. It kind of makes you wonder how the defense is ever any good. 28th in creating pressure and really bad relative to the rest of the league when they get pressure. 30th in EPA per play when they create pressure. So even when they get pressure, opposing quarterbacks are finding openings. They are letting guys run free against pressure. And the Packers have been great beating the blitz this year. So if you're going to blitz, it's tough sledding. The other side of the ball, there's one set of numbers that I think is crucial here, because the one way this offense last year and this year were really effective at creating offense was the running game. I really like Drew Petzing, the offensive coordinator there. They did lose their run game coordinator. He's now the offensive coordinator in Dallas, and I think we're seeing the dividends that's paying. This Cardinals team runs more outside than any team in the NFL. They love an outside run. The Packers are 6th in EPA per rush defending outside runs. So the thing that the Cardinals are the best at, or they do the most, the Packers are very good at stopping. So this is strength on strength. The other ones are strength on deficiency, strength on deficiency. And lastly, Arizona, if you're going to dink and dunk and death by 1,000 checkdowns a defense, you have to be able to stay somewhat on schedule, right? Well, Arizona's offense is 30th in success rate and 25th in explosive play rate. They do not create down the field because they don't have players who can do that. Marvin Harrison Jr. might be a reason he didn't run the 40, maybe because he's not as fast as we thought, or not as fast as some thought. I was never a huge Marvin Harrison Jr. fan. I know that seems weird. I thought he was a first-round player, but I was not like, this guy's generational. No, if his name was, Fred Jenkins, I don't know that we would have had the same perception of him. But this Arizona offense, and I understand they looked better with Jacoby Brissett last week, but Jacoby Brissett last year and really for most of his career has been bad. So why would we expect him to have another productive week? It is a bad offense by success rate, and they don't create explosives. The Packers, by the way, don't give up explosives either. So now I start to wonder, well, how are the Cardinals going to score? I know they're at home, but how are they going to score? They're down to, third string running backs. We'll see if Marvin Harrison Jr. can get through concussion protocol and play. The Cardinals have Trey McBride, and that's about it. I am now struggling. The more I've looked at it, the more I struggle to see how this team can score points. And because of the strengths that the Packers have, and whatever cynicism you want to offer, that's fine. But just look at the matchup. The Packers are really good at stuff that the Cardinals are not good at handling. And then all the stuff that the Cardinals might want to try, the Packers are good at defending. You have to create explosives to score enough to beat the Packers. The reason the Cowboys got to score 40, aside from getting 2 points on a kick block and then a touchdown that was handed to them off a sack fumble, is they created explosives down the field. I guess that's the only place you can create explosives. Redundancy, Department of Redundancy. Department. I'm not leaning, like, I don't think the Packers are going to score 50 or anything like that. I don't think this is going to be like a 30-point blowout. I've learned my lesson predicting blowouts on the road. It's really hard to go win on the road. But I now think this game is more like 24-14, 24-10, especially if it's going to be Jacoby Brissett. Even if it's going to be, banged up Kyler Murray. I don't see the talent. I don't see the ways that they can find advantages. Like, against the Bengals, you knew Jamar Chase could make a couple plays and score, and they did. And that's the only reason they were able to score, is because Jamar Chase made a couple plays. The Cardinals don't really... Trey McBride is not that player. He's a very good, solid player. He's not that. He's Tucker Kraft if Tucker Kraft got 10 targets a game. And maybe the Packers should give Tucker Kraft 10 targets a game, by the way. But, Dak Prescott saw God for 2.5 quarters. Is Jacoby Brissett going to do that? Dak Prescott's been one of the 3 or 4, maybe 5 best quarterbacks in the NFL this year. He was the MVP of the league at Christmas 2 years ago. It's not crazy that he would be awesome. It would be pretty crazy for the Cardinals to score 25 points, 27 points in this game. That'd be crazy against this Packers defense. Even if you want to add all the cynicisms of, they'll just dink and dunk their way. Building in all that, I don't see it. Now, how are the injuries going to impact this game? I think in a meaningful way. We'll talk about that next. Mazda crafts cars for those who do more than simply move. Mazda delivers confidence with every ride, with more IIH's Top Safety Pick Plus awards than anyone else as of August 2025. You can feel Japanese craftsmanship in every detail, from the metallic accents to available Napa leather upholstery. You can make everyday drives feel like anything but, from smooth handling to intuitive controls. With all-wheel drive standard in every crossover SUV, you can drive with confidence through almost any season. Like Packer players, Mazda sweats every detail, because when you make every move count, impossible becomes irrelevant. Mazda, move and be moved. What do you get when you have a bald eagle standing on top of a silverback gorilla riding a T-Rex? Freaking confidence, pure confidence. If you're looking for something beyond the usual pill, it's time to meet Rougiette Go Long. Rougiette Go Long isn't just another ED pill. It's a total game changer for confidence. Go Long combines 2 doctor-trusted medications in one dual-action formula, so you can get hard and go the distance. The effects can last up to 36 hours. That's confidence all day, all night, and even the next day. Process is simple. Connect with a board-certified doctor 100% online, and if prescribed, your treatment ships discreetly right to your door. Ready to level up your confidence in the bedroom? Head to rugiet.com and use promo code LOCKEDONNFL for 15% off your first order. That's rugiet.com, promo code LOCKEDONNFL. Make sure to use our code so they know we sent you. Zach Tom returned to the practice field on Thursday for a padded practice. I think that points us in the direction that he is likely going to play. But remember, Anthony Belton also returned to practice, so he has the opportunity to be the fill-in if necessary. Adam Stenavich confirmed Jordan Morgan is going to start at right guard for the Packers, which signals to me that either they expect Zach Tom to play as of today, or that if Zach Tom can't go, they are preparing Anthony Belton to play. And I think that is the right decision. If you want to go through the offseason and figure out, okay, what is Jordan Morgan's best position relative to Anthony Belton and Zach Tom, and whatever happens with Elton Jenkins and all that stuff, that's for another day. We don't have to worry about that. We don't have to worry about the first round capital used on Jordan Morgan. If Jordan Morgan's a good player, that's all that matters right now as we talk about this football team trying to go win a Super Bowl. But having that continuity, having the same group of guys, has untold positive impacts. It is extremely important. The continuity for offensive linemen is vital to their success. And so I think Jordan Morgan, what we saw last week was the best we've seen a right guard play this season for the Packers. And so it's not surprising to me that he's going to be back out there. They duo runs, those double teams, they can move bodies with Jordan Morgan out there and Aaron Banks. And they have some really nice work to do. I think they're going to be able to run the ball against this Cardinals team. I'd like to see them throw it a bunch too. I'd like to see them try and create more explosives. Matt LaFleur, when asked about Christian Watson, speaking of explosives, said, we'll see. Now, this is where I point out that last week he was asked about Christian Watson and he said no. So, while I do think it would make sense for the Packers to say, hey, we're going to give you basically training camp, so 2 weeks to practice, and then the following week we'll give you the full week, go out there, you practice with the ones, do all the team stuff. I do think that would be a practical, conservative approach. I don't know that we can talk about this medical staff as being conservative anymore. They let Jayden Reed play with a fractured foot. These guys, they let Zach Tom play multiple games with a torn oblique. Even if it's, only in heavy scare quotes, only partially torn. This team does not play it conservative anymore with the injuries. It's just not what they do. And so I wouldn't be surprised if this was the week that we saw him, especially, remember the Cardinals game last year, he had the big deep touchdown. Just get him out there for 10 plays. Like, they rotate these guys anyway. I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to him not playing. Dontavian Wake's back out there. He left the game against the Bengals. We didn't really know what the situation was, but he seems to be good to go. If they just have 3 receivers, and I would frankly like to see them more, just like, okay, Romeo Doubs, Dontavian Wakes, Matthew Golden, those are your guys. Now, when Christian Watson comes back, I've always been a big Malik Heath fan. I don't think we will see Malik Heath on the field. All due respect to Malik Heath. I think it will be Watson and Dobbs in 2 receiver sets, just because Matthew Golden, not quite the receiver. I think you'll see Watson and Wicks in 2 receiver sets. You might see some Golden and Wicks in 2 receiver sets, stuff like that. They want to be able to run the ball out of those 2 receiver sets, and I think having Golden out there is just not as beneficial to you as those other guys as blockers. But we'll see how they mix all of this stuff in. The thing is, they don't need Christian Watson to create explosive plays. They don't. But they're getting him anyway. And so this being already the highest rate of explosive creation in the NFL tells you just how special this offense can still be. And I was not. Like, I thought the defense could be better. I thought this could be a top 5 group even before the Micah Parsons trade. And then with the Micah Parsons trade, you're like, oh, yeah. I thought the offense was a no doubt top 5 kind of offense. And the offensive line issues have scuttled that, have prevented that from happening. Getting to just play the same group of guys is so important. It's vital to your team's development and trajectory as you move forward here. Now, if you have to play Anthony Belton, there isn't an edge pass rusher who you go, well, I'm really scared of that guy. Like, Josh Sweat's a nice player. That's as far as it goes. Calais Campbell's a nice player. And at his age, it's crazy what he's doing. But I don't think this pass rush can single-handedly win this game. And so I think Jordan Love is going to have time. I think Jordan Love might put a stamp on, hey, look, like the MVP conversation, I'm not in it right now, today. But by Sunday afternoon, maybe I will be. Because the Packers, if they win this game, if he plays like he did last year against the Cardinals, and the Packers are now 4-1-1, we'll see what happens with Tampa Bay. I think if you're a Packers fan, you're going, maybe the Lions, you'd like them to beat Tampa Bay, so then the Packers can be the 1 seed in the NFL. Not that it matters who's the 1 seed before Halloween. You'd also like to see the Lions just get absolutely destroyed after spending a week complaining about officiating. I got crushed. Okay, I got crushed by Lions fans and NFL fans around the league. Like, my post-game rant after the Lions game in Detroit went viral on social media. And I got called every name in the book. And Lions fans have spent days complaining about the officiating to the point that it's a conspiracy. The NFL, they conspired with the officials to change the call on a touchdown on the first drive, whereas I was complaining about a bogus offensive pass interference call late in the fourth quarter that gave the Packers what would have been the game-winning touchdown, the go-ahead touchdown versus the game-tying field goal. That was the play and the difference that I was talking about. Not one touchdown in a game you lose by multiple scores, and we're never really competitive in from the jump. Let's be honest. Just something that's interesting to me. All right, we'll be live on Sunday after the game. Follow us on YouTube, Locked On Packers. We'll be live for 30 minutes after the game, and then Locked On Packers Squad Show immediately following for another 60 minutes. That makes 90 minutes for you math wizards at home of post-game Locked On Packers content. We appreciate you always. Follow me on the social medias. Follow the podcast wherever you get podcasts. Subscribe, leave a rating, leave a review. Help other people find Locked On Packers so they and you and all of us can stay Locked On Packers.